welcome to another day of gardening. I hope you're having a great day, even though we're having this extreme heat. I'm Xander Gray, and I'm here in the south just standing in the heat, like everybody else. Today we're going to cover the possible effects of drought on your garden, and how to combat drought on flower gardens and vegetable gardens, and maximize your vegetable production. So stay tuned and stick around, and we'll be covering that for you. Black Eyed Susan was collateral damage today from the 104-degree temps. As you can see, it's very droopy and not very happy. So as long as we have these scorching temps, this is one of those that has to be watered twice a day if you want it to look any kind of decent. The 104 to 109 degree temps have terribly stunted the growth of this elephant ear plant. Let me get a little closer here. Which was already the run of the litter. This runt has a slower growth rate than all of the other bulbs I've got. Not only that, but its growth rate is the slowest growth rate of any elephant ear I've ever seen, even though it gets watered every day. It wasn't growing, and I figured out the problem yesterday was tied to erosion. You got to watch out for soil erosion and unlevel soil areas or areas of poor drainage. So I had to recover this particular bulb with some soil yesterday because the bulb was half exposed to the elements. So it's been recovered, and it's been freshly watered. So we'll see how it pans out, and hope that it actually looks like the other elephant ear plants. Not watering these bean plants a second time in the morning on the same day caused the tips of this bean plant to burn in the scorching heat. Believe it or not, this pan that the bean plant is in here, let me zoom out some. This pan was actually half full of water, and the soil was drenched yesterday. So, as you can see, it's completely evaporated. And the same holds true for this pan of beans over here. The pan of water under these beans and the soil here was completely hydrated yesterday, but evaporates very quickly in this scorching heat. Let me pan out to show you the whole bean plant. And the water evaporates daily in this dry desert heat we've been experiencing. And we're not in a desert, if that tells you anything. These cilantro plants have also wilted, especially the one on the bottom and on the far right there. Kind of some dead leaves there. So I hope that this will continue to grow and not die. We'll see how it lasts. It's a pretty young plant to be experiencing these kind of growing conditions. Here's just some of the cracked, dry soil that we're experiencing. The soil is very dry in a lot of places, and there's just not much growing. Everything's kind of dead around it. So it's very, very dry, and let's see, there's some dying clover over there. I'm sure this it's hard on bees and everything else too, but that's the kind of conditions we're experiencing with this 109-degree heat to 104-degree heat. So just to show you how dry the soil is, here's a close-up of some dry soil here. Here, got soil cracking, a few things living. Here, where there's really very little growing. A lot of dead areas in this yard now. These corn plants here are doing really well and can resist drought effects with watering at least one time daily. Just pan in on that a little bit. Very healthy stock we've got here. The cilantro is blooming. I'm going to see if I can get some coriander seeds out of it this fall for seasoning. Hopefully I'll have a lot. The crooked-neck squash is blooming and producing small squash in the entire area here. If we go over here, we can see a baby squash. It's already growing. Here's another baby squash. It's already growing, and another squash, crooked-neck squash bloom. It's probably going to bloom tomorrow. Crooked-neck squash seems to be very easy to grow. Well, it seems to be a little bit hardier than the pumpkin plants even. And here we have another crooked-neck squash plant and a few more blooms that have yet to produce. This pumpkin vine here is coming right along, trailing behind the squash. It has not bloomed yet, but there's a whole bunch of tiny blooms on it. Most of your garden vegetables have got more constitution to withstand this heat, but they can go longer between watering than flowers can. However, it's not a good idea to allow that to happen because you really want to keep the vegetable production up as high as possible with daily watering. See this dry area next to where the garden ends here? And I'm going to add a second bed of yellow wax beans here in this area this week. So I'm going to begin clearing out this dusty area of soil, which is Tennessee red clay, except extremely dry. This process makes me feel and imagine that I'm in a huge biodome with oxygen being pumped in on Mars, and I'm terraforming every square inch of soil. So the transformation begins tomorrow. I'm going to shovel the dry weedlings away here. How else will we know we're on Earth? Then I'm going to pour in a leveling topsoil to level out this low-lying area somewhat. Let's pan over here to see what kind of a low-lying area we've got. And get a close-up here. And after somewhat leveling it out, tomorrow I'll add some potting soil, some peat moss, and vermiculite to make the growing environment for the garden retain more water for the plants during this drought. That'll really help out with vegetable production too. Tonight I'm going to leave you with a great view of the moon here. It's actually really pretty. This video camera really can't pick it up very well, but there's a ring around the moon that's very misty and nebulous shaped. It's not really just a complete ring, and it's a very chalky yellow ring that's surrounding it. Against the sky it looks really, really pretty and very alien, but like I said, it really can't be picked up on this particular video camera very well. So have a great evening, and hopefully you all can beat the heat just by chilling out, and maybe there's a gentle breeze in your area, or you could just get on your swing and beat the heat that way. So have a good evening and good night.